Hello, I want to share my thoughts on people moaning about the state of their life and being unlucky, or the system not being just in particular. The system isn't just. The system is anything but just. The system is probably, at the highest levels, very corrupt. And you can either sit there and moan about it and complain about it, or you can recognise that the level of corruption that goes on in the world at the highest levels, government, politics, whatever else, very often if you were in that situation, you'd be acting exactly the same way. So I see people that moan and complain about not being able to get ahead or whatever, inequality and all this stuff. And it's not necessarily that it's untrue what they're saying, but nothing changes because you moan about it. The system doesn't care if you succeed or not. It doesn't care if you have nothing. It also doesn't care if you've made a fortune. See, it's all down to you. It's not down to people to look after you. It might sound a bit harsh, but that's just the reality of what we're living in. So you can either beat around the bush and think that the people who seemingly make decisions are out there to actually help you, or you can sort of open your eyes and recognise that you've got to go and do it yourself, and for the people that you care about. Because the reality is no one gives a fuck. Most people, including your friends and your family members a lot of the time, don't care for your success. All they care about is making sure that their roof is over their head and their basic needs are taken care of. That's it. Everything else is usually bullshit when they try and promote, saying that you're doing well or this, that, the other. Everyone wants to see somebody else do well until you overtake them. And that's what the system does. Look at the taxation. It's like you're taxed to the hilts. I think I heard a statistic the other day that we're at the highest tax rates since World War I or something. So you can either do something about it or piss and moan. It's all on you. There isn't fucking passing the buck. I've been there, like victim, and saying, oh, it's not fair and this, that, the other, but the world doesn't care. And this is the deal, right? If you find yourself complaining and being a victim to circumstances, all you perpetuate is the problem. You just keep complaining, you keep moaning about stuff until you actually grab life by the scruff of the neck. Your business, whatever you're up to, if you don't try and become the best you can be at doing that, then you'll just continue the cycle of what you've been doing for the last 5 years that have made you complain in the first place. So yeah, we could go into like philosophical, political conversations about what should and shouldn't be done, but the book always stops with you. Always. And the fact that we've ended up with the system that we've got at the moment is because it's supplying a demand. The demand that a lot of people want to be mothered and overtly cared for, rather than going out there and trying to make something of themselves and the business that they're trying to, get off the ground. They're not happy with the deck that they've been handed, and so they moan and complain about it, expecting other people and the government or someone else to look after them. Obviously that's going to rattle a few feathers, and some people obviously of course they can't work, or they can't get ahead for whatever reason. Yeah, there's a few, but nowhere near as many as the statistics show. It's bullshit, to be honest, if we call a spade a spade. The way out of the system is through the system, in my opinion. If you think that there's, it's all, the odds are all stacked against you, the best way to get out of that is to make a shit ton of money and set up something different. Be the change that you're actually looking for. Don't just sit there complaining and whining about something. Actually do something about it so that you free yourself up from it. Otherwise you're just going to be doing that for the rest of your life, and then your kids are going to be like, well, why didn't you do anything? And just get out there. You'll never regret something that you did. Generally speaking, you'll always regret what you didn't do, the risks you didn't take. Something like, there was a book, and it was written about the biggest regrets of dying people, like a lady who worked in care homes created it. And there was like not caring what people think, wishing they'd take more risks, wishing that they didn't care so much about money, which is a big one. You get the point that I'm trying to make. The risks you take, you won't regret. You'll regret the ones you didn't take. Just get out there and do it. Your neck is the one on the block. Your spirit, if you like, without getting too esoteric, that's the one that's on the block. Your spirit grows through hardship. It grows through things going wrong. You learn so much more through these difficult times than you do through the times that everything goes well. Yeah, you'll learn through the good times as well. But if you actively put yourself in these situations that makes your spirit, grow and expand and everything, that's where the real development is. That's where, your mental state will become more stable. Your spiritual state will become more expansive. You don't get that through having it easy all the time. Society isn't there to make things easy. It's all on you. And don't let all these self-development, self-help and all this bullshit, the new age types, that's all so soft and mellow and everything. Don't let that infiltrate your mind, because it touched me a couple of times and it's like, oh, okay, don't need to do this, don't need to do that. You're better off burning through all that nonsense. Life is your best teacher. Books only teach you a tiny little bit. Other people can teach you a little bit, like me talking here. Go out there into the world and it's not about having fun per se, but it's like fun is a consequence of pushing your own boundaries. You'll be fulfilled when you're serving other people and pushing your own boundaries. That's when there's always a sense of meaning and fulfillment. When you're out there giving everything you've got. When you're there just taking things and doing things from a place of, I haven't got enough, so therefore I need to grab that and I need to grab that. That's when you'll feel a bit like tight and insecure and all that. But when you're just giving of everything you've got, that's when you feel an overflow of abundance. And you have that mindset, whatever system you're operating in at any time is secondary, because it's all about you. Then as I've said before, your neck is the one that's on the line.